Hi guys, my name is Nacy Hornaday. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I want to share with you 7 popular home decor trends that I will not be following and the reason why. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, so divided it up this way. For the first 4 categories, these are things that I'm just not vibing with, I just don't like, and I'm not going to be doing it for that reason. The last categories are things that I actually like, but they're either not practical or for some other reason I will not be diving into those trends. So okay, so for the first one is monochrome neutrals. And I know you're confused now because you're looking at my home and you're saying, isn't that what you have in your home? No. I do have a very neutral home, but I love to mix cool tones and warm tones. So I have a mixture of a lot of gray, but also a lot of warm tones, earthy tones, browns, taupes, beiges. And I find that when you're going to do a neutral home, besides adding texture, mixing cool and warm tones is a way to really keep it interesting. What I mean by monochrome neutrals is when you have the all beige everything home, which is the most recent trend of that, or the all white everything, or this one's a little bit dated, but before that you had the all gray everything, and I just, that's a little bit too boring to me. And I know neutrals in general are boring for some people, and you know what, to each their own. Again, these are just my opinions, and feel free to decorate your home whichever way you want, obviously, but this is just my own personal taste. And for me, I just need to have a little bit of visual interest, and texture alone is not enough to me. I do need some color variation, but without actually doing color, because I did color, and we'll get into that later, but I did color for a while and I kind of got tired of it. So I'll let you know why, because that is tied to my next point, which is actually jewel tones and bright colors. Now color is coming back, and there are designers out there that are doing such a wonderful job with color, and I absolutely love to look at it at other people's homes. And for example, Kelly Wrestlers, if you do not follow her on Instagram, oh my gosh, follow her account. She's an interior designer, and she's so creative, so funky. She's doing something very different from what a lot of other designers like Studio McGee are doing, and she's really adding color, texture, pattern, weird funky shapes, and it looks absolutely stunning. But it really takes a lot of work, in my opinion, to make color and pattern work so beautifully. Most people don't have that level of skill, and what you end up with is repeating the same color tone throughout your whole house. And that's what I did before. I had red as my accent color, and I literally had the exact same red accent color throughout my whole house, and I got so sick of it. And I towards the end of it, closer to renovation, I knew without a doubt that I wanted to do something different. So I started researching home decor and seeing what really resonated with me, and for me, it was realizing that really I like neutrals, and your house should be a reflection of you and also your wardrobe. So if you're struggling to try to find your inspiration or trying to figure out what style you like, take a look at your wardrobe. If everything is very colorful and vibrant, maybe color is for you. If everything is kind of like really boho, then that's your home decor aesthetic as well. That will probably not make you sick and tired within a year. But if your entire wardrobe is really neutral and muted, like my wardrobe is, then that's probably an indication that you should stick to that color palette, because otherwise you're gonna get sick and tired of all the vibrant colors. So for that reason, color, like super bright colors, it's just not an option for me currently. And again, home decor change taste change, the trends, everything. I'm not saying this is forever, but for right now, this is my happy place, and color will not be happening in a large scale in my home. So, all right, so for number 3, and this kind of ties in a little bit into this last point, is granny chic. Granny chic is all the rage nowadays, and it's kind of bringing back that traditional look, and literally, like, you know, kind of a play into that grandma look that, you know, when you go to your grandmother's house and you have the skirted beds and the, you know, the patterns, and kind of you have that old school traditional funky look. That's what the vibe is, and I know that's being done in very creative ways. There are interior designers that are really doing this well, and especially playing with pattern, and some that I like to follow that do this are Chris Loves Julia on Instagram. If you do like this, then just do it the right way, please. Don't just throw the kitchen sink at it. That's what makes me sick and tired of it. It's just too much visual stimulation for me. Look at their page, figure out how to do it right. There is definitely a method to the madness of mixing prints, and there's a tasteful way to do it where it's actually interesting and visually stimulating and very unique. But otherwise, it just, to me, looks like chaos. It's just too many prints, too many ruffles, too much color, too much of too much, and to me it's just way too much visual stimulation. So for that reason, I will not be jumping into this bandwagon. So, okay, the next trend that I'm not going to be diving in, and it's one that's been going kind of hard for a while, is the bust trend. And I'm talking about sculptures and, you know, big body sculptures, and this all kind of came to be more through the restoration hardware aesthetic, but it's just not my vibe. And I see it in some homes, and I think it's done tastefully sometimes, but to me, it's really not my vibe. Like I've seen some cool way to do it. For example, a designer that does this in a really interesting way is Athena Calderon, and I absolutely love her style. But some of the things she puts in her home as far as busts, I'm like, I'm glad to see it in your home, but that will not be going into my home. For example, like the big man bust that includes like the genitalia. Call me childish, too much for me, and I have kids too, so no, just no. I don't need that floating around my house. However, call me a hypocrite. The one way in which I've dabbled into this trend that I actually like is the little butt or breast, you know, like kind of smaller vases where you put flour on top, and it's not just like torso in your face. And you know, I like that, and there's a distinction to me, so I'll show you in a minute. So this piece that I have on my bookshelf, for example, yes, it's kind of like a bust too, and they're, you know, the ones with breast, and this to me is a little bit different just because of the size makes it a little bit more subtle, but also the fact that's also a vase takes away from it just being body parts hanging in your house for no reason. It's a vase. You can put florals, and that juxtaposition of the curves of the body and the florals, to me, that looks pretty. That looks more tasteful to me. But you know, having some random person's face just staring at me, it just doesn't do it for me, guys. So, all right, so now let's dive into the trends that I actually really like, but I'm still not going to be partaking in. And the first one that we're going to get into for this category is open shelving, especially in the kitchen and in the bathroom. And oh my goodness, it looks so beautiful. And again, I'll reference again Athena Calderon. Like, if you look at her kitchen, it's just so beautiful with the way that the super veiny marble is, and the open shelves and aesthetic things on the shelf. It looks absolutely stunning. However, the reason I'm not going to be diving into this trend is because it's just not practical. First, things get too dusty with open shelving, and if you only have open shelving and you have to put your everyday cookware and utensils. I mean, you have to wash this every single time you use it. That's just not practical. I also don't like the look of dusty shelves. Doesn't matter how decorative they are. And I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna be dusting my shelves every day. I'm just not, I don't have time for that. I also, you know, it's also impractical in the sense that it forces you to only have aesthetic things. And let's be honest, you don't really want to use your super aesthetic things for day to day. Sometimes, you know, it's porcelain is more brittle and you want to save it for special occasions for whatever reason, you know, although I do believe in using beautiful things every day, but this is just a bit much. Like, everything needs to be striking for it to look right. Otherwise, if you have a regular old pot and, you know, mix match coffee mugs in your open shelves, it starts to look untidy and cluttery, which is my other point, clutter. You really have to keep it minimal, because the more things you add, the more clutter it looks. And as I mentioned before, I do not like to be overly visually stimulated. So for all of those reasons, open shelf is not gonna happen. Also, I have a lot of crap, and you know, I just, open shelf is just, no, just, I don't want to have a lot of crap exposed. No, thank you. All right, so the next trend that I really like visually, but it's just not practical in my home, and therefore I'm not going to be doing it, is super low profile furniture. And you know, I'm talking about the sofas and the accent chairs, and to me, that's just not practical, because once you go that route, unless the rest of your house was already flowing in that direction, it forces you to really have to invest in a lot of other pieces. Because now you also need a low profile coffee table, because if you have a low profile sofa and accent chairs with a regular profile coffee table, it just looks really awkward. Same thing if you just have a low profile sofa but then you have a taller chair, it starts to look kind of odd. And then now you have all this extra space on your wall, which maybe is a good thing if you have really stout short ceilings, and at that point maybe you do want to do low profile. But if you have really tall ceilings and really low profile furniture, now you really have to get oversized artwork to go above that sofa, and now you have to get, you know, all kinds of, like, you know, more floor lamps that are taller than the standard height. Otherwise it just starts to look kind of empty. And you know, besides all these aesthetic reasons, for me, the most important reason why I cannot do super low profile furniture, especially for sitting, is because it's not practical for older people. I live with my 84-year-old grandmother, and I mean, I would just not be comfortable for her if she had to kind of really crouch down and sit down at a fancy low profile sofa every time. So for those reasons, I'm not going to be doing low profile. Now, related to low profile furniture, my next specific item that is very trendy but I am just not going to be partaking in is the cloud sofa. And that incorporates a lot of things I don't like, even though visually every time I see it at the showroom of Restoration Hardware or in a catalog, it just looks absolutely stunning. But what I've learned is that in real homes, it never looks that way. First off, is super soft, and even you know, the salesperson, when you go to Restoration Hardware and you inquire about it, they typically will tell you it's high maintenance, and if you wanted to keep that look, you have to fluff it every time you get up. And can you imagine that? Like, every time you're getting up from your couch, you're like, fluff, 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 fluff. I don't have time for that. And I have kids. My kids, which are 2 and 4 years old, they're not gonna get up the couch and fluff it. So that'll be me fluffing after them, or fluffing after my husband, because let's face it, he's not gonna do it. And no, I just don't have the time. Also, you know, and I know they have different colors, but for the white one specifically, it seems too high maintenance. And I have some light furniture. I have the Remy lamp from Crate & Barrel, which is really light, but you know, like no one sits on that. And I have an accent chair that nobody really sits on, that's light. I have throw pillows, that kind of thing. But for a whole couch where people sit regularly, I just stay away from, you know, super light color couches when you have kids. Just just don't go there. Yeah, no. It's also super expensive. So if I'm gonna get a super expensive couch, it needs to be sturdy, it needs to be very durable, and it can't be that high maintenance. I'm sorry. All right, that was it, you guys. Trends that I'm just not gonna be diving into, but again, you do you. If you love them, do what makes you happy, what makes your heart sing in your home. Your home is like your body, is also your temple, and you need to be happy in it. So, you know, this is all just my personal opinion, which I hope you found entertaining, and I will see you next time. Oh, real quick, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're alerted whenever new videos come out. Follow me on Instagram at nacy.hornaday. More for fashion style and for home decor. I have a separate account that is Neon Interiors, and I will put it on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.